Hi Falcons! You may have already printed off these sets of notes. I sent a PDF out, sales tax and tip notes. If you have not, you may want to stop this and go ahead and print this off so you have it, or you can just take notes in a notebook. So we're going to be talking about sales tax and tip today. They are amounts that are added to the price of a purchase. So tax and tips increase the price. They're calculated using a percent of the purchase price. So for example, I'm going to show you two different ways to do these. A portable CD player costs $48 before tax, and the sales tax is 4.5%. Find the total cost. Okay, so we're going to take the original, or the price, of the item and multiply by the tax percent. And this will tell us how much tax we're going to owe. And remember, this tax percent needs to be decimal, not percentage. So let's take the price was $48. I'm going to multiply that by 4.5. I'm going to move it over twice. That would be 0.045. And when I do that, I get $2.16. This is my tax. Okay, then you add the amount of tax to the original price. So my price was $48. I'm going to add the tax, price plus tax, and that gives me $50.16 would be the price of that item with tax. Now, a little simpler way, you might prefer this method. We've been talking about more than 100%. So when I'm adding on a tax, I'm going to pay more than 100% tax. I'm going to pay 100% plus 4.5, which would be 104.5% in tax and price. So now I can take my price, which was $48, and multiply, move this, change it into a decimal, 1.045. And when you do that, you're going to see you get the exact same answer, $50.16. Now, while we're dealing with money, we will always be rounding to the nearest cent. So the nearest hundredth on these. So now I'd like you to try some of these. These are all tax problems. We're going to be adding on the tax. So for exercise 1, go ahead and solve using whichever method you prefer. Okay, now that you're back, I'm going to use method 1 to solve this one. You may have used the other method, but you will see in the end you should have gotten the same answer. So I'm going to take $72 and multiply by my tax, which was 6. When I move this over, I'm going to get 0.06. Which gave me $4.32 in tax. Now I add that to the price, which was $72, and I get $76.32. Okay, so either method you use, you should still have had that answer. Okay, go ahead and work number 2 for me. All right, this time I'm going to use method 2. I'm going to take my price, $58.40, and I'm going to multiply by 105.5%, which would be 1.055. And when I multiply, I get $61.61. So again, no matter which method you used, you could have used either, you should get that same answer. And let's just try one more. If the original price was $8.40 and the sales tax is 7.25%, what's going to be the price with tax? Okay, I'm going to go back to method 1. I'm going to take $8.40, multiply it by moving my decimal over 2 times 0.0725, and that gives me 61 cents, rounded to the nearest penny. So now I take my price, $8.40, and add on the 61 cents, and you're going to get $9.01. So either method should have gotten you to that same answer. All right, let's try a few problems with tip now. Okay, your food bill at a restaurant is $24 and you leave a 20% tip. Find the total cost. So tip, like tax, is something that you add on to the amount. So we're going to take the price and we're going to multiply by the tip. When I move it over 2 places, the decimal, I get 0.2, which tells me that would be $4.80. That's my tip. So now I'm going to add the tip to the price. The price was $24. I'm going to add the $4.80 tip. And now I paid $28.80 altogether. Now, we could have done this the same way as we did before. Add your tip percentage onto your whole. So you're going to pay 100% for the meal plus the tip. So 100 plus 20 would be 120%. When I change that into a decimal, I would take 24 times 1.2. And again, that's going to give you the same answer, $28.80. So again, you choose which method you prefer. You can use either of those methods when you solve your problems. So everyone try example number 5 here on your own. Okay, what I hope you did, I'm going to try method 1 on this one. I'm going to take the $75 and multiply by my tip. As a decimal would be 0.18. And I'd get $13.50. And now I'm going to add that to 75 and get $88.50. So no matter which method you used, you should have had $88.50. Let's try number 6. My food bill is $18. Let's use method 2. Again, you try on your own. You don't have to use method 2. You could use 1 if you'd like. Okay, I'm going to use method 2 though. So I take 18 and I'm going to add 20% onto 100, which gives me 120%, which is going to be 1.2. And 18 times 1.2 gives me $21.60. So method 2 kind of just eliminates a step. You can do it all in one step instead of 2. But where method 1 comes in handy is sometimes a question will just ask you to find what was the tax or what was the tip. And then easily on number 5 I can look and say, oh, the tip was $13.50. But altogether I paid $88.50. Okay, so that's when method 1 really comes in handy. If they just want you to find the total bill, method 2 would be a quicker and more efficient way of doing that. So let's work through this one. If your food bill at a restaurant is $24 and you leave a 20% tip, find the total cost. So how much is your total bill with 6% tax? So here they want the total bill. So I could easily take the $24. I'm going to use method 2 here. And I'm going to multiply by my tip added to 100%, which would be 1.2. Oh, wait, I'm doing the tax. 6% tax. Sorry, I got jumped up here. It might be helpful to underline the information so you don't get confused. So let's try this again. We're going to take 24 and multiply by the full 100% plus the 6, which would be 106%, or 1.06. Okay, and 24 times 1.06 is going to give me $25.44. So this is my full bill with tax. Now, based on the total bill with tax, how much would your tip be if you tip 20%? Okay, now they're asking me for my tip amount. So I'm going to want to go back to method 1 because all I want is what is the tip. So I'm going to take the price I paid with tax, $25.44, and my tip is 20%, so that would be 0.2. And when I multiply, I'm going to get $5.09 for the tip. Now, what's the total cost of the meal? I'm going to put down that was my tip. Okay, now I take the total cost I paid with tax, the $25.44, because I have to pay tax and tip, add on my tip, $5.09, and now I've got the total price of the meal, which is $31.53. Sorry, $30. I hope you caught my math errors there. I'm just giving you, let you know I'm human too. We all make mistakes. So this was $30.53. Okay, I want you all to try number 7 on your own, and then we'll see how we did. Okay, welcome back. The food bill was $75, and I paid a tax of 5.5%. So I'm going to add that onto 100, and I would get 1.055, which means I paid $79.13 with tax. Now I'm going to tip 18%, so I'm going to take that price, the $79.13, and tip. Now I have 118%, so it'd be 1.18. And when I multiply that, I get $93.37. Hopefully you had the same answer. Okay, go ahead and give number 8 a try. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do number 8 with method 1. So my food bill was $22.50, and I'm going to multiply by the tax. Moving my decimal over is going to be 1.0475. Sorry, I'm going to use method 1, 0.0475. I'm just multiplying by the tax percentage written as a decimal. When I do that, I get $1.07 tax. Now I'm going to add that onto the price, which was $22.50. So I get $23.57. Okay, now I have to do the tip. So I have $23.57 as my price with tax. I'm going to tip 20%, which would be 0.2. I'm going to multiply that. I get $4.71 is my tip. So I'm not done. That's my tip. I got to add it onto the price I paid, $23.57 plus $4.71. It gives me $28.28. So again, no matter which method you used, you should have came up with the same answer. So today you have an assignment in Schoology on sales